Yeah!
It's the Golden Army Show! That's Yes.
And that's Sasha.
And we're live on idobi Radio. On idobi Radio from the idobi Radio Studios.
As always, we are live on idobi Radio, flying without a net.
Everything's good.
Sweet.
Everything's good. Yeah, we're live, like we usually are on idobi Radio. We're back in the idobi Radio Studios, which is exciting. Oh yeah, get our merch. Get our merch. Oh, I was gonna wear it today. I was like, I'm wearing it. I'm definitely not wearing it. We're wearing idobi merch that I don't know is available anywhere. It's limited,
Exclusive.
LTD. But we do have merch that I meant to wear today, but didn't. And it's on
It's coolertweetshow.bigcartel.com.
Okay, so we are going to have a whole entire show today talking about Florida. So we wanted to do this show when Ron DeSantis was running to be the president of the United States of America. Because that's what he's doing. He's running. He was running. He's not anymore. Spoiler alert.
If you haven't been around a newspaper, the internet, any social media, Ron DeSantis is no longer running for president of the United States in 2012. But he still has...
Did you say 2012?
Oh, my God. Yes, I did.
Why did you say that?
Because that was when the apocalypse was supposed to happen. So I reverted back to 2012.
Wait, what? I was checking to see if everything was kosher in the buttons. So I wasn't listening. I was just hoping that you were going to, say stuff. And you did, which was great. Thank you for that. And then I came back
to fact check me.
2012. Do you think it's 2012? Do you think that's the year?
Oh, man. I may be having a moment.
It's one of those things where you wake up and it's like,
It's
did I dream the last
12 years.
12 years? I said 8 years. I think it's 2020. Oh, no. We're so fucked. All right. It's 2024, by the way, Zeus. If you're listening to this in the future, which you probably are, if you're listening to it in the past, then you're TS because you think we're in 2012. Wait, are you a time traveler? Did you forget what year it was?
Maybe.
Damn, that's cool.
I
was the one who ate the gummy.
I am from the future.
Cool. I don't want to know what the hell happened. Don't tell me. Let me experience it as a surprise. Because if I know, I'll just lose my mind. So keep it to yourself. What we
do know is that Ron DeSantis will not be on.
That's what we know right now.
2024 presidential.
He was going
election.
for it. He did a couple stupid debates with other stupid people and whatever. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to this year, but at least he dropped out. He gave his support to Donald Trump, and he went back to Florida. And when he was running, we were like, whoa, there's some crazy weed stuff to go along with this. And it's still kind of interesting. Well, it's extremely interesting because he's still the governor there. He's still doing whatever he's doing down there, which is like, Lord Jesus knows what. But he is, despite him, being like, because medical has been around for a long time in Florida, right?
Yes. Yeah, relatively.
But he pushed back on recreational for a while. He was not down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, initially Governor DeSantis was sort of anti-cannabis.
Yeah, he said, no, I don't want to do that. He blocked it. He blocked it a couple times. Every time or a few times it was raised, and he was like, no, I don't want to do it. So all of a sudden, he's like, you know what? Maybe they will approve this measure. Maybe, if it goes through, it goes through. What can I do? I'm just going to go ahead and let it go through. Sure. Why not? Everybody likes weed. It's cool. But the other Florida people don't like some other Florida people aren't down. It's a mixed bag down there in Florida.
Yeah, initially the Smart and Safe, it was introduced by Smart and Safe Florida, so it's basically a adult use cannabis initiative that was signed by over 1 million people signed to get this on the ballot.
Yeah.
To get this on the November election ballot.
Citizens of Florida want this.
Overwhelming majority of the people in Florida
Which makes it a little more interesting that even though citizens have wanted it, Floridians have wanted it, DeSantis was so like, no. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, well, maybe we'll see. So that's just worth noting.
But the Attorney General for Florida is the, what is it, Moody.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want, for some reason, is fighting this in court. And it's gone all the way to the Florida Supreme Court.
He doesn't want it. He's like, no. He's been fighting it, and he's like, I don't know what the hell's going on with Ron DeSantis right now, because he used to be like on my side, man. He didn't like weed, and now he's like, what? Now he's all down. So Moody is like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
How I don't understand part of this, because how can you take an initiative that was signed in by the will of the people off of the ballot?
I mean, they can do anything they want.
They can. I think they're citing sort of like federal conflicts.
Well, that was what it was. Yeah, it was like it's not like constitutional or something. Like he like came up with a bunch of reasons, I think, or that it's gonna have like a negative impact or something. I'm not quite sure what the logic is, against it, really. But there are people who, including that guy Moody, he's not down. But yeah, out of nowhere, Ron DeSantis was like, yes, we should be talking about this again.
And Ron DeSantis is confident that the Florida Supreme Court will approve this this ballot measure to actually be on the ballot. So nobody knows if he has any insight into this. Obviously, he has the political connections.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he would know.
He probably knows. He's got a few people in his pocket, front and back.
So that's like news in Florida legalization and whatnot. Like it seems like it's going to be put on the ballot. There's no equity in sight just as of right now.
Oh yeah, this measure was sponsored by Trulieve.
Right.
Some points of the measure is that the established medical licenses will be able to, I guess, convert to both medical and adult use.
Okay.
Possibly setting up a monopoly for Trulieve. Also, there's no home cultivation within this measure at all.
No.
Social equity?
No, they haven't talked about equity yet. That's what it says in this article, that they haven't.
It's not even like it hasn't even been mentioned.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that it's like it's just it hasn't like gotten. They haven't gotten to that part yet, and I don't really think they're in much rush for that. I don't think Florida's really concerned about equity. Maybe they are. Maybe they do care. Maybe that's important to the lawmakers.
Trulieve has contributed $40 million to Smart and Safe Florida campaign. I know they've made contributions to the DeSantis campaign.
Well, yeah, that
well.
is the. Yeah, we can't bury the lead. That's the whole point of this. Is that all of a sudden, DeSantis is coming around to legalizing in Florida. So, back in December, CNN had an article up, and play the video from it. Because, you know, their thing, their, like, Republican thing is always, like, special interests and, okay, drain the swamp. Like, they're like...
We can't be bought.
Yeah.
Drain the swamp.
Which, like, what are you got, like, what are you talking... Okay. That's how I know you're liars. It's because, like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, come on. We know you can be bought. But it is interesting that... it's just so weird that, like, a multi-state operator like Trulieve can go to Florida and donate to these campaigns or these, you know, these initiatives to be passed, and a lot of them aren't in the best interest of the people, or they aren't. And this is like what you see kind of in Oklahoma and like some random other places. Like, it's not what the people think they're voting for, and that's not on the people, that's on the lawmakers being unclear and muddy and all for monies. So it gets like kind of a bummer when you see that. So yeah, you know, DeSantis, you know, said I'm going to clean it up. It's not going to be da-da-das. And of course is getting a ton of money from investors like Trulieve, who again do not have the cannabis patients' best interests. So should I just like play it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna play it.
Thank you. God bless you.
After Ron DeSantis was elected governor of Florida in 2018, the very first bill he signed into law legalized smokable medical marijuana in Florida.
Whether they have to smoke it or not, who am I to judge that? I want people to be able to have their suffering relieved.
Okay. Do you? I mean, you know, maybe he does. Maybe
Well,
that's real.
It doesn't seem genuine, but
But right now,
he.
Great.
Yeah, cool. Let's dig into the real reasons.
Great. Yeah, we love it.
A CNN investigation reveals how DeSantis was courted by key figures in the medical marijuana industry who donated to his campaign. He got a political boost, and they got a financial one. Yet DeSantis is still boasting that he drained the swamp in Florida.
Okay. So, just to interject here, we won't play the whole clip. It's like 5 minutes, but you'll get the gist. Just interject a couple times. We will do this. That he is actually getting money from a special interest group.
Made direct
Yes.
$50,000 deposits to his campaign.
Yeah. And yeah.
We've drained the swamp in here.
That all sounds good, but did he really drain the swamp? Turns out Trulieve, one of the leading medical marijuana companies in the U.S. today, contributed $50,000 to the Florida GOP, which helped pay for DeSantis' campaign ads. Trulieve then boasted of record profits just months after DeSantis signed that law, telling investors that patient growth was driven primarily by the introduction of smokable flower, which by then constituted half of its sales in Florida.
Oh.
Huh.
So all of a
Interesting.
sudden, your boy is down for smokable flower when Trulieve stands to profit.
Increase
Great.
by 50%.
Cool.
Florida hand surgeon turned marijuana entrepreneur Jason Perizzolo was among those who co-hosted fundraisers for DeSantis. This one at his posh lakeside home near Orlando.
They're showing a bunch of Chads. You can see the video on our socials, but right now it's pretty chatty. Chads galore.
Chad's gonna
Just
Chad.
weeks before Election Day in 2018, CNN obtained this exclusive video. That's Perizzolo arriving for the fundraiser with Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, who as a state lawmaker in 2014
Okay. Well, great.
introduced legislation that became Florida's first marijuana law. Perizzolo's attorney says he never discussed marijuana legislation with DeSantis. Also at the party, then Florida State Representative Halsey Beshears. His family's tree farm later joined with other nurseries to become Trulieve, that top medical marijuana producer, which donated to DeSantis's.
So, let's talk about that part.
Yes. this is all very interesting
Yes.
because, okay, as they mentioned that they were awarded the family tree farm was awarded cultivation licensing, and within the law, when it first came out, was introduced to receive a cultivation license, you needed like an insane amount of time in a regulated nursery, like 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, like you had to be a very well established
Like
nursery
tree farmer
person. Yeah, like a very specific qualification was necessary for this.
And there was almost nobody qualified.
Of course not, because who's like running like a nursery for 20 years. Like that's like a very specific thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure many people do, and they're very lovely. But I feel like that's very specific.
You're probably haven't grown. Oh, maybe you have. You haven't grown cannabis if you've been in the legal tree nursery market in Florida.
So there just so happens that this friggin' guy
is awarded a cultivation license.
Right. He's
in cahoots with Trulieve.
He's homies. Yes, he's homies with DeSantis, and he is in cahoots with our favoritist company, Trulieve.
Campaign. All three of them have ties to Florida's billion-dollar marijuana industry.
Ew, Matt Gaetz too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so gross.
I'm honored to be here. I thank you guys for your support.
All of them a united force in raising money for DeSantis.
One of the things that really impressed me about Ron is that he pushes against the grain.
DeSantis would also soon play a key role in Florida's so-called green rush, which gave rise to a billion-dollar industry.
The reason why Ron DeSantis became governor of Florida is because of a little plant called cannabis.
That's Lev Parnas, one-time associate of Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump. In May of 2018, when Ron DeSantis' campaign for governor was in trouble, Parnas says DeSantis sought him out.
Okay. So you may know Parnas from one of the associates from Giuliani and Trump. It was very scandalous.
Yeah.
Relationship with possible alleged ties to where? Moscow? Who knows?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And
yeah, like super corruption.
So
times infinity.
And then he's got a place in Florida. I guess that's how you get close to Trump and DeSantis. And he was kind of like a fixer. Would create intros between powerful political people.
Right. He kind of like bridged whatever gap necessary. But notice, like, this is all just people with money. It's not people in weed. Like, who are these people?
Oh, yeah. They're just, like, see dollar signs in their eyes with any venture.
Let's take a quick break. And then we'll come back and talk more about the corruption in Florida and how it's something to note. While I hope that weed becomes legal in Florida, just again, like... just, know what's going on. We just want you to know what's going on. We have opinions, and we will give them. These opinions do not reflect idobi Radio or the universe in which we all exist. But we do feel like this speaks to a larger issue in the weed world. That's why we feel like it's important to talk about.
Yeah, we have to talk about the things that people aren't talking about overall.
Yeah.
And everybody just thinks check yes and you're going to have the best weed in Florida.
Right. And Ron DeSantis certainly does not have your best interests for the sake of your best interest in heart. This is pretty evident of that. We have opinions. I just wanted to make that clear. These are opinions. We're the Cool Nerd Weed Show. We're live on idobi Radio, live as heck, and we're talking about Florida, and we're just taking a deep dive into Florida and the current governor, who is Ron DeSantis, former presidential candidate. And we have very clear opinions on Ron DeSantis. If you don't share those opinions, do not feel like you cannot listen to the Cool Nerd Weed Show. But this might not be the episode for you. Next week we'll talk about the origin of the strain cookies. But like right now, we're just talking about Ron DeSantis. We're talking about Florida. It's relevant to the momentito. But we're not trying to be assholes, but we'll probably be a little assholey because it's in regards to weed, and we're very passionate. We're very passionate about our weed. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. If something's not right, we're gonna fucking say something.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Okay. So what we're doing now is we're going through this clip that was on CNN.com, and what you can find it if you'd like to. It's from about a month and a half ago, and it's just kind of it talks about how Ron DeSantis and weed has been medicinal in Florida for a long time, but it's been difficult in a lot of ways for a lot of things, and you're finding that Ron DeSantis is easing up on certain things, not easing up on others, putting together one thing, not addressing others, and that is what we're finding out is because he's getting donations from people who have special interest groups, and companies like Trulieve, which is a multi-state operator of cannabis, who it's very corporate weed, it's big weed, it's for profit weed, it takes donations from different places, and it also you rub elbows with a whole mess of corruption in this world when you're involved with companies like Trulieve, which have their own slew of issues, by the way. This isn't even that. This is just the Florida part of that. But people like Matt Gaetz, who objectively speaking is a piece of shit. And that's just, I'm just putting out facts to you here. But that aside, he also is involved with this. And he allegedly is involved with a bunch of illegal things, criminal activities. And along with Matt Gaetz are some other folks.
Some other slippery characters that you've seen slithering around the GOP.
Yes.
In recent years.
Coincidentally. We right before the break we talked about one of them who was the one Pizzolo.
Pizzolo, yeah.
Yeah. So and some did we get to Bashir's yet? I think there's like a Russian connection as well, because of course there is. But okay, here's where we are.
Parnas was looking to get into the lucrative marijuana industry in Florida. DeSantis had previously taken a stand against marijuana. As a U.S. congressman, he voted against making cannabis more accessible to veterans.
I realized that he was not pro-cannabis.
So this is what we've been saying, is that he really was never really down with weed. But and you'd think this would actually be good, okay, maybe this is the one time this works in our favor, maybe this is where we come out on top. The weed is the special, maybe the special interests will work for us, but it's not. It's not that.
The DeSantis didn't start working for cannabis when he had the chance to vote for veterans to have access to cannabis. So, he didn't have the best interests of the veterans, and then because people that are lobbying for veterans aren't going to fucking donate $50,000 to the DeSantis campaign. You're trying to lobby for veterans' rights. You had the chance, DeSantis.
Well, yeah, it's clear that he was not an advocate. You know what I mean? He's not an ally. He's not somebody who, clearly he doesn't want anything that has to do with, if it's gonna be if it's gonna be legal, it's gonna be for monies, that, the smokable cannabis thing. He's what do I care if you smoke weed? Or if you ingest it through smoke or whatever. When 10 minutes ago he was ingesting weed is a problem, and it's a problem for the societies and whatever, until he was getting money from another corrupt company. Then
DeSantis actually said, my friend smoked in high school and it didn't go good.
What? Okay. What do you mean? And like, whatever, man. You don't have to smoke weed, but like, just don't. I don't know. It certainly doesn't look like it's going in a great way. So, I guess the moral of the story here, weed is for profit in Florida, which is everywhere, and we'll get to this in a little bit, but is that the weed that is going to be produced when it does go legal is going to be, I mean, safe access above everything, right? But
For sure.
But with corruption, such deep corruption involved, I just like, it's literally like what the term "at what cost" was invented for. Like, at what cost is safe access coming to Florida to have? I mean, Gates, I guess, like dipped. He's like in the Trump camp now, even though, well, I guess like so is DeSantis. So everybody's like working for the same idiot now, and like everybody kind of dispersed. Like one dude who was involved, like he was also in that like scandal with Matt Gaetz and
Oh yeah, and the alleged sex trafficking young underage women, which that case was somehow dropped. I have a feeling they were settled out of court, allegedly.
yeah. So they all kind of dispersed. Everybody went to their corners, but still, Ron DeSantis is where he is. And Trulieve is still where they are, and there's no signs. Even though they're, like, really mired in controversy, they're still not in great shape, So, but they donate, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, even though there's, like, mad controversy surrounding Trulieve, they still generate, hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
And they donate money to
the right
the PACs.
The PACs, the lobbyists, and directly to campaigns.
So if you're, trying to get your biz started in cannabis, and you're just like a little company, just who has the funds to get maybe your dream is to do cannabis in Florida. Like, you're not going to be able to.
Yeah,
there's no room for
a
small.
There's
company.
no mom and pops are going to be able to exist in Florida at all.
No, in any way, because they're going to do the model, the vertical
integration.
Yeah, that's like
the old
DeSantis is obsessed with
seed to sale, which really, I don't know if it's really doesn't really work.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't
could
seem
work.
like it. I guess it could. I mean, yeah.
There's like, I don't know. I've experienced the Trulieve flower. It's really like, it's low potency. It's fucking boof. There's like zero. If I was testing it, it was probably like 0% terp profile.
Yeah, it's bad weed. I mean, it's not gonna be good.
It's just like little nugs.
Yeah. But if
you have access to cannabis in Florida,
yeah,
then that's a win.
Why does this article say that Ron DeSantis still opposes recreational cannabis?
I don't know. It seems like he's pushing for all of the.
Well, he didn't say that he's for it, but he didn't say that it was not going to happen. I guess because it was going to be on the ballot.
Yeah,
I guess he can't. He doesn't want to be like for it or against
endorsing. He's just giving the facts that it will be on the ballot and the people will be able to decide, regardless of what the Florida Attorney General wants.
What he did, him and the Attorney General, is DeSantis went and he didn't really come around for recreational weed, basically. He came around for certain little parts of the already in effect medicinal sitch and seemed to be a little softer on weed, but he still stayed in the same position. What he did was put people like who you heard about in the clip and other people in the right positions all around, so that when recreational weed happens, because he said it's going to be on the ballot, people will vote it in because we know that that's what they want. The people who he put in will get the monies, including himself. So basically what he did was create a little very, very 1%-y situation down in Florida with weed. Now, like, in our industry, we don't love that, because usually we know that means that, like, the best interest, which is getting weed to you safely for, you know, whatever you use your weed for, is it happening? But if it's like the shittiest, I mean, I don't know, if it's safe, again, safe access overall, but if equity hasn't been discussed, or that's like not even like important to them, all they want to do is make all the money, and then they're not even gonna have weed that might even be medicinally effective. So
and
there's things to consider here.
And you can't even grow your own.
And you can't grow your own
through home cultivation like that. The fuck is that?
I mean, yeah. I feel like that's more common than we would like that to be. The equity thing is a deal breaker for me. Cultivation, I feel like people have to get used to that. And it's hard to keep track of trap houses. But equity, I think, is
in Florida, where they privatize the prisons, equity is should be at the top of the fucking list.
Right.
But then that's a whole nother.
But that's justice.
That's a whole nother issue.
And they're not doing this for justice.
No.
They're not doing this for a cause. They're doing this for monies. So that's cool. Whatever, man. But it is interesting, you know, even though we're mad about it, it is interesting to know. I mean, the guy said, he basically got elected because he lobbied with the right people who had money, and there is money in weed, even though it could be angel investing money, or it might not be real money, but it appears that there is money. So there are still investors, there's still GOP members who have gotten put into place that will benefit when it goes recreational in Florida. Just worth noting. It's all just worth talking about, that's all.
FYI.
Yeah, just FYI. Our opinions is that it stinks. It's rotten. We don't like it. It's stupid. But we'll see how it pans out. I don't know. I don't know how it will pan out for Florida.
I think if it's actually it will be on the ballot in Florida, I think it's going to pass no matter what.
Oh, it's sure going to pass.
Overwhelming. But the state of cannabis afterwards will be probably disastrous.
That's the sad part of it all, is that there is an overwhelming desire to have access to cannabis. Crazy. But because lawmakers who were didn't even know why they were against it in the first place are now oh, okay, we can make a lot of money. So he can still say oh, I don't like it, but he can funnel in the money somehow, and he's going to run for president again in whatever future we may have, which may not even exist. Who knows? If you're listening to this 4 years from now, please tell us it's going to be okay. But yeah, no, that's just where we are in this world. So I don't know, Florida, I wish you luck. I do hope that you do get it on your ballot, and I hope that it isn't as disastrous as we feel like it's going to be. It just looks like a bummer for us as nerds in the industry. And all we want is for everybody to have access. So as much as it could be a bummer, we'll if it gets passed, we'll do light snaps. But we're going to take a break and come back with the final Huff and Puff, which it's just like it just gets worse and worse and worse. Like every time you think you're like, all right, guess not that big of a deal. Like you find out something worse about what Florida's planning to do. We have been talking about, it's the Cool Nerd Weed Show, by the way, Aziz, and we have been talking about Florida for a fucking hour, and I'm ready to stop. Just kidding. Listen, Florida, I fucking love you, and I want to be serious about this. I think Florida is some of the best people I know are from Florida, and they have beautiful, beautiful beaches,
For sure.
beautiful land, beautiful people are there that I have met and that I know, that I hold close to me. So we are not shit talking Florida. We're not like, oh, Florida man fucking drives a lawnmower into an alligator. Like we're not like trying to, or crocodile, whatever's down there. We're not trying. We're not trying to diss on Florida. TS likes Florida. He spent the whole pandemic there.
I did. I dug in.
By choice.
I wish that I had access to better cannabis.
That was pretty whack. But you did have access.
I did.
And that was pretty cool.
That was nice.
Because imagine if you were like in like Nebraska. I don't know. I said Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't have a good. No, they don't.
No,
have any
no.
weed. Yeah, imagine if you were in Nebraska.
You.
Oh boy, that'd be crazy. Or New Jersey. I was in New Jersey. I did not have access to weed, but I figured it out. We are advocates for weed. We are not anti-Florida. Just so you know. And I feel as if we should make that clear. I was just talking jazz.
I enjoy all of my time in Florida.
We want the best for you.
It's always been fucking wild.
Yeah, Florida
From
knows
the
how to get
early
down.
days,
Yeah,
for sure.
They know how to get down. They know how to get down. It's delicious weather. And boy, wouldn't it be great to smoke weed and enjoy a Florida fucking sunrise like the fucking Golden Girls on the lanai and eat some delicious Italian food, because all the Italian food I've ever gotten in Florida has been so lit. I like that. It's been so good. So Florida's a good place to get munchies. We love you, Florida.
I mean, there's so much nature in
There's
Florida.
room for improvement, you know.
A Florida nature walk. Take a little nature walk.
Lots of nature.
All lit. Go out on the boat.
Yeah, all swampy.
Go fishing.
Yeah, stoners love to fish. Love it. So we just want the best for you, and we know that you're not getting the best. Your captain of your ship does not have your best interests at heart, but he's trying to make you think that he does. So Ron DeSantis isn't going anywhere, but he is certainly fueled by weed, we have learned. That motherfucker. That son of a bitch.
You SOB.
You SOB. You stinking SOB.
Ronnie DeSantis.
Ronnie D.
Ronnie
You
DeSantis.
sneaky little snake. It's like, weed is bad. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Enough about that turd.
Well,
but we are still talking about Florida.
yeah.
Which is, again, we love. But, so weed might be on the ballot. Oh my gosh, yay. However, needle off the record, scratch.
Before legalization even hits the ballot, there is a square, a killjoy, Florida State Rep Ralph
Masulo, who sounds Italian.
He does. There's
like,
a lot of
really,
Italians.
my
down
brother, my Italian brethren. You're gonna pull some shit, Ralphie.
So
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Ralphie has introduced a new bill titled "Potency for Adult Personal Use of Marijuana." Will impose strict recreational weed caps on potency if passed.
And what are they?
It would be, this is fucking crazy. Let's just say, under the terms of the bill, recreational cannabis would be capped at 10% THC. Cannabis concentrates would be capped at 60% THC.
10%? What do you mean 10%? What is that even? That's like barely even hemp.
That's just like, yeah, it's not, it's so low. What did you just pick that number out of fucking thin air?
10%? That's like not even medicinal.
Concentrates would be 60%. So
That's crazy.
You'd have a 60% vape. Well, so there's going to be a lot of fucking filler in there.
Ugh.
And well, edibles would be maxed out at 10 milligrams per serving and 200 milligrams per package, which is actually like double most of the other states.
That's bizarre.
All of those numbers are fucking arbitrary. I believe Masulu has no fucking clue about cannabis,
Of course he doesn't.
the cannabis industry, or hasn't ever smoked. That's for sure. He's probably one of the people that didn't inhale.
A guy like that, no, I don't think. But explain to me what this is for. Like, why? And the reason why it says in this article that he said is that he thinks it will cut down on smoking. But I don't know, like, what that means. Because you know that you have to consume more if it's a low potency like that. So
that's the thing right there that tells us that Masulu has no clue about cannabis consumption.
You don't even know
at all.
Right.
So if let's say I go down to Florida on my vacation and I get some 10% pre-rolls.
Right.
I'm going to have to smoke the whole pack. And then I'm going to go back and buy more. And then I'm going to have to go back
and smoke. Right, exactly.
I'm going to have to smoke too much to get there.
Oh, jeez. Well, this sounds terrible. Yeah, you're looking at like double the amount, even if you smoke traditional market weed. Even if you're smoking weed from your homie, it's more than 10%. I promise you. Or you shouldn't be getting from that homie anymore.
This isn't going to really like this. This bill, this measure would not help the legal cannabis market to thrive. It's only going to drive people underground back to the traditional market.
100%. 100 bajillion% it is. It's worth noting in this article. Normal is quoted and the group Normal that we talk about, NORML, advocates for weed for safe consumption and safe access. They are saying that not only will it not cut down on people smoking, that's insane, but there's no overdose for THC. Yes, can you get too high and feel uncomfortable? Sure. But you will never overdose from THC that we have found. So the call for this is very silly and doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I sure hope that doesn't happen.
These things, we've talked about them before, and they've come up. They've come up in Washington. They've come up in where else? They've come up in New York. They've come up in Colorado. This issue of low potency and limiting the potency of cannabis and other concentrates, and they're always they never pass. Luckily, one has not gone through yet. So, sense eventually will, hopefully, I don't know, but it is Florida. Exactly. I don't know. I think that DeSantis would probably quietly squash this one because it would totally.
Does he even know to do that though? Would he even because if he's in bed with Trulieve, is Trulieve
Trulieve flower barely tested 20%.
Exactly.
You could look at those, and
so
most
they might be fine.
They're
might be we don't even have to try anymore. They were even trying before.
We don't even need to try to It's absurd to limit cannabis potency.
Yeah, that's too bad. I sure hope that that's not the case. Listen, if I'm down in Florida and I see a dispensary, I'll be stoked to go in it, but I'll be mad bummed if I'm only getting 10%. While I know that THC percentage is not all that matters, 10% does matter. And again, you said that, and you said there was hardly any terp profiles, and Trulieve doesn't care about terp profiles, and
not at all.
So not only do we not like the vibe of a big cannabis Chad situation going on down there for the kicking off of recreational weed. We also, the product is not going to be good. Just judging off of, before it's even legal, they're like, oh, let's make this worse for everybody. Let's just try to make this shitty.
Just slide this in.
Yeah.
Oh, you want your legal cannabis in Florida? It's going to be 10% THC.
It's going to be so bad, and you can't grow it, and we're going to keep everybody in jail that was in there. So, yeah, that's the state of Florida. That's the state of cannabis in Florida, in the state of Florida. And, you know, if it gets better, we hope it does. We'll keep an eye on it. Ron DeSantis is not running for pres anymore, so we don't know what he's going to fucking do down there to you poor Floridians. We don't know. We don't know what he's got up his sweaty, gross sleeve.
What he's got hidden in his boots.
In his high heel boots. Oh, Ron. Okay, well, Florida, we wish you luck. We hope that you get through this, and we do hope that you have safe access soon. We'll see how this year goes. This is going to be a very interesting year in all ways. We're sure. I feel like we're going to wake up one day, and it's going to be like, cannabis, freaking descheduled, you know, and we're going to have to go on Instagram Live, and we're going to be like, oh, my gosh. But until then, we're going to tell you the things, how we see them and how we feel them, because that's what we do. Wait, what do I mean until then? Even after that, even after weed is the national plant, we're still going to be on the radiola telling you like it is.
I love that idea, the national plant.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
There's like the bald eagle and then like the cannabis plant.
Yeah, I'd love that. That would be perfect.
And then like mom's apple pie and baseball.
Yeah, weed fits right in there. But until that happens, we're gonna have our opinions. And we appreciate you for loving us no matter what. So go get our merch at coolnerdweedshow.bigcartel.com. We have a bunch of fun stuff up there. And thank you, idobi Radio. We love you. And Florida, we love you too. But like, we don't love the other things that happen to you down there. But we wish you luck. And
don't panic.
It's organic.